Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and another episode of the Umbrella Academy, episode 2. Last time on the Umbrella Academy, Diego's in a mental institution. Klaus is a hippie. Yeah, I mean Luther is a brawler. I guess for the most part, everyone is just trying to make the most of the situation that they actually found themselves in. I mean, Allison has, arguably moved on. I mean, given the time frame that she's in, being a woman in and of itself, at that in that period, is it wasn't the greatest, and being a woman of color even less so. So, it could be that she's found a cause in the group that she's found herself with. I'm assuming civil rights activists. You know, or perhaps she's actually fallen in love with this guy, and it's not just a means to an end in terms of surviving the times, right? So it could be one of several things. Perhaps initially she just married him for the sake of survival, and then she fell in love with him afterwards. And we see similar themes running through the episode as well with that lady Vanya found herself with, that family she found herself with, and the discussion Vanya had with her in the barn, whereas she said she's her husband is a wonderful man, and he loves his family, but that doesn't mean that he'll be around forever. Men leave or they die, and you kind of have to fend for yourself. All valid arguments. So I'm glad to see that this season they're touching on they're expanding beyond just the siblings that we've come to know, right? And addressing some of the tougher issues. So yeah, Five is back in the fold. He arrived just in time for the end of the world, 1963, and I do hope that they have not completely killed off Hazel, because he's one of my favorites from season 1. We did see him die, maybe. It's some comfort to know that he got to spend at least 20, I think he said 20 years with his love from the donut shop. I forget her name, but I'm glad to see that they actually got to spend some time together. I initially thought that number 5 was the one that brought Hazel with them to the past. So they showed him disappearing at the end of last season in episode 10, but I didn't see him use the suitcase, so I assumed it was 5, but it wasn't. Right, so he jumped to a timeline, I suppose, where he'd be, comfortable and could operate outside of the commission hunting him down, and they got to spend 20 years together. She passed away, from what he said, and he made a promise to her to help the academy, to help the members of the academy. So he did his one good act. I'm not sure what he put in Five's pocket. I'm assuming that will come into play sometime later. But of course, the biggest revelation for me was the opening of the last episode, with everyone using their abilities, but their abilities somewhat amplified. We saw Diego actually curve bullets, which isn't something we've seen him done before. We've seen him curve things he has thrown, but not something that has been thrown at him. So this feels a bit more in line with telekinesis than anything else, which I think I did theorize back in season 1. That would be great if his power would actually expand to move other things instead of just things that he stores, because it's the only explanation, right? Why would he be able to throw something? It's not as though the targets just ricochet off something. He's actually moving them. So it's very interesting. Allison, of course, actually, and I forgot to mention this in the last episode, because she said, I heard a rumor that you blew your minds, and their heads exploded, right? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what, that's not so much of a passive ability anymore, because she's actively bending reality. So her ability is the most I wouldn't say overpowered, but it's the most powerful the most powerful change that we've seen from season 1 to now season 2. Klaus is definitely an upgrade as well, with being able to command several spirits at the same time. And as Luther is Luther, he did jump really high, which isn't something we've seen before. But as I've said many times, my issue with Luther is his abilities seem to be a bit inconsistent. You know, when we got the flashback in season 1 where he was a kid and he was tossing a guy through the roof or something, but at the same time he was in a brawl fight with Hazel, and you know he didn't. I wouldn't say he lost because he got right back up, but at the same time, it wasn't an easy win, right? And it wasn't an easy win, and I thought it should have been for someone that strong. But that was essentially my only gripe with his abilities. I will say though, I'm the more we go on, the more I'm thinking about my theory about number 5 somewhat being connected to the commission, or another version of him being connected to the commission somehow being true, right? Hopefully there'll be more opportunities for me to explore that later on. But we haven't explored the commission to its full extent, I don't believe, but there's definitely more there than meets the eye. So we're stuck in this timeline, and 5 again once more has to run up all his siblings and get them to help him to prevent the end of the world, except at this point nobody seems to really care. Luther turned him down because I suppose he already accepted that everyone has died the year that he's been stuck there. But I mean, initially I had said that they should have been able to find each other, because apart from the one person who arrived in 1960, which was Klaus, everyone else who landed between 61 and 62 and 63, they would have arrived at a point where at least 4 of the siblings would have already arrived in the previous years. So Klaus is the only one who would have expected to have that attitude, because he would have had to wait a year for someone else to arrive. But then at the same time, I keep forgetting that this is not the 2000s. There's no way for them to communicate, to find each other easily, and nothing to that extent. So they're stranded and they have no resources, no money, nothing. So I can understand Luther's perspective, having already accepted that, okay, this is the end, that's it for me, and just surviving. But that said, that is something that 5 has experience with, having been stuck in the future himself for several years. So I think 1 year isn't a valid argument for you to just give up on the whole world, right? So hopefully 5 is able to convince him and then convince the others. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. Episode 2, let's check it out. 1.
I'm asking out Sharon tonight.
Sharon from payroll?
No, Sharon from
I didn't think
janitorial.
she's not dead.
I
We
like
know
her
she's
smile,
not dead.
plus my
She's been
apartment's a
killed
disaster.
more than once. How is she not dead? There's a bullet in her head.
You could probably kiss those wontons goodbye.
She did say that if something happened to her, they'd just replace her. So, considering her failure, there's no way that she's going to be demoted.
Welcome back.
Okay, from the trailer, the fish in a bowl on someone's head. I am so curious to know who this is.
What's going on?
And during your rehabilitation, certain management changes were made. Unavoidable departmental reorganization.
It's hilarious to watch.
Is your new supervisor?
Did we see her in season 1 when 5 was being introduced to everyone?
turds bigger than her.
It's so weird when, management gets dropped back to your level. And I think I'm sure. I'm hoping she treated them well.
I just told you the world's gonna end in 10 days.
Yeah, well, you're always saying that.
Yeah, and he was right.
So far, I've been right.
Look, you want to go save the world? Knock yourself out, all right? I already got a job.
Wait, you work in this?
You're a boss. You mean your replacement father figure?
I'm stranded here alone for a year. What did you expect?
I get it. all right?
He was stuck
You
in
watched
the
Uncle
future
die,
for
the world
several
exploded,
years.
and I
Get
moved
over
into
it,
a
man.
mess in time. But I'm asking for your help, Luther. The Umbrella Academy needs you.
Doesn't need me. It never did.
It's tough for me to argue with that one. Damn it, Carl.
This way.
Maybe change the I just broke out of an insane asylum outfits. Would help. Ah, okay, there we go. Who's we? I thought you were all lone wolf. Close.
The fly's undone.
What is wrong with
She just broke out of an insane asylum. What do you think is wrong with her?
You're lucky, you know that?
Why?
You got a blank slate. Start over. Be anyone you want. The rest of us.
I don't know about that. A blank slate means you don't exactly know your place in the world, but then again, even without it, you may not. Why are you just standing there?
Dallas police, hands in the air. Get your hands. Drop the weapon.
Okay.
Do we have a problem here?
No.
Hmm.
Officer.
Okay. I guess he knows about her abilities. He doesn't want her to use it, trying to teach her restraint. That would be an interesting twist for her character. She's always used it for the wrong reasons. And here she wants to use it for the right ones, and she has to learn that she just can't.
Frankel footage. Friends of yours?
Cousin's on my robot mother's side. Can you do it or not?
Sure I can.
Yeah, you can
You
take a
can
guess
film a
as
run.
to who that is.
Diego.
Oh, who's Diego?
Alien brother.
Imagine Batman, then
It's not that
Drop
awful.
this trigger for here and tell him he has 24 hours to exit Dallas.
What if he's ambidextrous?
When you
get through
say
a
it,
day?
it sounds silly.
I can do this on my own.
Dr. Monkton was right. This hero complex is no joke.
That is not what this is about. Not trying to be a hero, okay?
Then why are you doing this?
because he is an idiot.
Who the hell are you?
Hi, I'm his lover.
How do you get in the car?
Officer!
Hey, what are you doing?
I hear there's a reward out for you two.
He's bluffing.
No, he's not.
He is the head that wears the crown.
Actually, the line is,
How do you end up in
"Uneasy
prison?
lies a head that wears a crown."
Oh, great. Your dad made you read Shakespeare too, huh?
Remember your 12th night. Be not afraid of great.
Good advice.
Maybe Shakespeare had no idea what it was like to be me.
Perhaps. Raymond.
Close.
You're free to go, pretty boy.
Hopefully he crosses paths with Allison going out. And not
Where
much
did you
has
get the
changed,
film? The
unfortunately.
Frankel footage. The truth this time.
You know this lunatic?
New acquaintance.
What the hell just happened?
There must be something in it.
I'm Dan
Hazel
Frankel,
hung on to it.
and Frankel, and we are in Dallas, Texas, to see the president. Today's date is November 22nd, 1963.
Well, that's 6 days from now.
Holy shit.
Ah, he recorded it. Who's that?
Okay, you're gonna fill me in now, boys. What the hell is this shit we're watching?
That's impossible.
Clearly, it's not.
Ah, Dr. Hargraves. Yes, that explains why he didn't just
know
tell
I am?
Five he saw her.
How do we know each other?
Stop it.
No, I'm not. I'm not lying.
Yeah, no, it's more
Look,
complicated.
if I
than
hurt
that.
you, I'm sorry.
No,
If anybody.
Don't.
And you're about to let her down again.
I did horrible things that I'm not proud of. When I could have just tried helping you.
And now I just came here with a gun.
I never wanted to be the bad guy.
Growth?
So,
And you got about
Maybe
10
growth?
seconds to explain your business here.
I found it on the floor of the Carousel Club. Belongs to your husband.
Also, I know your friend.
Next time, use the front door.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I've come to expect very little from Luther, so it's an improvement.
Dallas is a big place. We need to find him first.
Gee, if only we had some magical old-timey way of finding people with their addresses.
TS Umbrella. 82 Olive.
You gotta take her with you.
And again, isn't it?
What is? Do you believe there are things in this universe?
So all of this, she thinks she's getting crazy. Something tells me she wasn't insane when they locked her up.
Like yogurt. How did it know how to stop being milk?
It's just that. It's like yogurt.
Pinky sweat.
The pinkest.
And if she goes with them, she's gonna see a lot more crazy shit. So I guess it's best to leave her here.
I made it worse.
No.
Okay, so he doesn't know. Thought he knew based on how he was trying to calm her down. I guess not. I hope he makes it out of this. I hope. I've seen that
Where did you
before.
get that?
All the children of the prophet.
I love that. It's like, you know, who's the one person who would do that, you know? All the prophets. Does this prophet have a name? Of course it's Klaus.
Sleepy time now. Sleepy time. Oh, what's the matter? Don't like what you see?
Piss off.
It's hippie Jesus.
Here. Show me those hands. Never a farmhand, that's for sure.
Could there be something going on between these two? I wonder.
It's late.
I don't know how Carl is gonna feel about this though. And this is the 60s, so 4 to 5 years since he's seen him.
The apocalypse. Wasn't a day that went by where I didn't hear his voice in my head.
What was he saying?
Don't go into the freezing cold water.
I told you.
I'll take the left. Yell if you get in trouble.
Somehow I feel as though you're more likely to get in trouble than 5 does. Why didn't he just call for 5? Damn it, Diego. Stop trying to do things on your own. So who else could possibly be there? Wait, Pogo? Maybe? Oh, it is Pogo! I'm surprised because in the flashbacks that we saw with the kids when they were much younger, Pogo wasn't around at the time. At least we never saw him. So I always assumed that he came around sometime after that. Ah. Damn. Ah, he's nimble. Damn. You could just talk to the man. He did teach you, he did train you guys. He can probably kick your ass. Got him. Wait. Ah. God damn it. Got shit by dad. You've been getting sloppy, Diego. Where is 5? Alright, so they got their ass kicked by a chimp and an old man. Of course, you know, Dr. Hargreaves has always been a badass. I mean, he has taught them. Sometimes it didn't even occur to me until the fight actually started that, wait, you know, he did teach them everything that they know. Perhaps just not everything that he knew. So, I mean, this Hargreaves, of course, doesn't know any of them just yet. So he just thought it's an intruder and knifed him. I know how Diego's gonna survive this unless 5 finds him very quickly before he bleeds out and get help. But again, this is the 60s. There is no cell phones or anything for them to get getting the medical attention that he needs quickly. So that might be fatal. So I have no idea how this is gonna work out. Maybe 5 will have to go back in time again, maybe to 62, and take it from there. Who knows? Who even knows? But yeah, another wild ride for the episode. I'm glad to see at least some level of growth. My favorite thing for the entire episode was the Luther and Vanya moment, because much like everyone else, throughout season 1, no one liked Luther, and at the very end, we liked him even less because he made poor decisions. Decisions surrounding, you know, his dad, which makes sense, to be fair, to both Luther and Diego. They had a pretty terrible upbringing with Dr. Hargreaves as a dad. So they're constantly trying to prove themselves. They have more in common than you think. And yet at the same time, they're always at odds with each other, you know? Even though they have some common ground there in their father, and constantly trying to prove themselves in his eyes. So, yeah. But growth for Luther, you know, admitting that he could have done things differently with Vanya and he didn't. And apologizing for it and deciding to leave her be because, you know, in the event that she's here, she doesn't remember anything and, you know, she's not harming anyone. He automatically jumped to the conclusion that she's the cause of the end of the world in this timeline as well, which isn't the case. Um, uh, I'm glad to see something different, some growth in him at least. You know, it's not enough to make him for season one, so we'll see. We'll have to keep watching him and decisions that he makes. Hopefully, it's for the better. Um, Allison, I guess for this season they're gonna meet up in pairs first before they actually come together as a group. Number five and Diego have already met up. Hopefully, Vanya left her home there to more than likely seek out Luther, so perhaps her and Luther will team up, and then we'll have Klaus and Allison, and of course, yeah. So they'll all team up, I guess, in pairs, and in some ways that's a good thing because the person that they're teaming up with, in a weird way, kind of balances the other person in a weird way, right? Five with Diego. Diego is on a hero complex. It's getting out of control, and he needs someone who's a bit more tightly wound, which is five by definition, you know. So they kind of balance each other out. Likewise for Luther and Vanya. Um, Luther, of course, ever the Boy Scout, and Vanya just, you know, she's a blank slate right now, doesn't know who she is. And given their history from season one, it's Luther being the one who got the most attention from Dr. Hargreaves, and Vanya being the one who got the least amount of attention from Dr. Hargreaves. So in some ways there is some balance, and they will balance each other out. And I think it would be good for them to actually be in a room and talk to each other and get to know each other outside of, you know, the childhood that they actually had. So everyone who's teaming up balances the other person to some extent, and I absolutely love that. Klaus and Allison. I don't know. Klaus is, you know, I kind of feel as though Klaus already has a conscience in Ben, and that doesn't seem to work out too often. I'm not sure how he ends up in prison. The last episode we saw him, he stole a truck and was driving off, but that scene might have been, it couldn't have been the 60s when he just got there, but it could have been maybe 62 or something. I'm not sure if it's the same year. But himself in prison, clearly outrunning his deeds, whatever it is that happened with his cult. It doesn't appear as though something bad happened, so much as the expectations grew too much and he decided to abandon the cult. I cannot wait for that episode. We got a glimpse of it in the trailer, but I do want to see more. I want to see more of Klaus and his cult and how they came to be, and how what happened, why he chose to actually leave it. But can't wait to see that moment with Allison and Klaus though, because again, as I said, balance, and she will call him out on his bullshit. I think I think they were the first. Well, back in season one, they were the first two to actually meet up. She found him in Hargreaves' office trying to steal something so he could sell it to buy drugs, and he later stole her skirt or something. You know, it was a hilarious scene, and they have good moments together. So I actually want to see those two together. They didn't have a whole lot of interaction in season one, but when they did, it was fun. So I'm looking forward to the team ups this season. We did open with the commission in this episode and got to a bit more on the handler, who's now been replaced and she's been demoted. And as I've said in the reaction itself, you know, it's glorious when someone who used to be in management comes down to your level, and it's a learning experience for them to see how, and I wouldn't even say badly, because I don't know how she treated everyone else there. We did see her taking Five and take him into the commission and introduce him to the other workers there. But I mean, the bathroom moment wasn't great, but she may have just done that with Five specifically, and not so much everyone else. So it's just hilarious. But clearly this isn't the last we've seen of her. And AJ the goldfish, just hilarious, taking a puff. I mean, I was wondering whether it's okay. It's a goldfish with a human, with a body, It's a body with a goldfish for a head. Either way, it's weird. But a fun character, and I mean, Umbrella Academy would not be complete without one of these fun, over the top characters being introduced. Season 1 had its fair share of them, and they kind of killed off Hazel and Cha-Cha. So I guess we've got new characters to play with and to enjoy this season as well. So another fantastic episode, guys. Can't wait for more. Be sure to post down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys for the next one.